भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Good morning, all of you. Open your prayer book. We'll chant the prayers on page 7 and 8 together. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Go to page 24 in our prayer book. If a man continuously hears bad words, thinks bad thoughts, does bad actions, his mind will be full of bad impressions and they will influence his thought and work without his being conscious of the fact. So these are the words of Swami Vivekananda, and here Swamiji is expressing his views on thought and the process of thoughts and the impact of it on our mind. Normally we don't realize, but our mind, our brain always analyzes things subconsciously, unconsciously. Everything which we see, everything which we hear, everything which we talk, everything which we watch, the time which we spend with others, the things which we discuss with them, everything is being analyzed by our mind. So when these actions are positive, good, nice, then we create a good impression. When we always listen to bad words, bad things, bad actions, see only bad in others and learn things which are not correct, then it creates a negative impression on our mind. And this negative impression disturbs all the good actions which we have done. We may have 100 good thoughts or positive thoughts, but a single negative thought disturbs all the positivity which we have in us. So that is why Swamiji says we should consciously see that negative thoughts don't enter our mind. Of course, it's not so easy to practice or train our mind to remove negative thoughts. They automatically enter. Still, we should practice and consciously try to remove the thoughts as early as possible. So to explain this point clearly, I would like to narrate an anecdote. So once a man was traveling in a car on a highway and his car suddenly breaks down. He tries to repair it, but he could not do so. So he calls up a mechanic and the mechanic says park the car at so and so location, and then he would get it repaired and send it to him. So he was asking for a lift, but he was not offered a lift. So he waited there for some time, and then there was a shortcut, so he started walking through that. But he has to walk through a forest area to reach his destination. So while walking, he was feeling thirsty. He felt thirsty, and then he thought, if I had some water with me, then I could fulfill my thirst, I could quench my thirst. Immediately after a few minutes, he hears a sound of water, and after he goes left, he sees a small stream. He drinks the sweet water and continues his journey. After walking for a few more minutes, he feels hungry. So he sits under a tree and starts praying to God. And he thinks, if I get something to eat now, I can happily walk. Immediately there was a strong wind and fruits from the tree fall. And he enjoys the fruits and starts walking. After a few more minutes, he feels tired. He thinks that if I had a bed now, I could sleep here. After walking further, he sees a nice carpet of grass. He enjoys his rest there and again starts walking. So now, while walking, he starts thinking, I am all alone. I don't have any protection with me. I don't even have a weapon. What happens if any wild animal comes and attacks me? Immediately, a tiger comes and kills him. So that is the end of the story. So that is what happens to all the positive thoughts when we have a single negative thought. So it happens to us also in many situations in our life. When we start doing things energetically in the beginning, initially, but after a few days that initial enthusiasm is lost. So that is lost because of a negative thought. So we should remove that thought as early as possible and continue with that enthusiasm. Only then we will be able to complete our task. Again, Swamiji says here, similarly, if a man thinks good thoughts and does good words, and the sum total of these impressions will be good, and they, in a similar manner, will force him to do good, even in spite of himself. So here also Swamiji says, similarly, when we have good thoughts in our mind, only good things happen. When we see good in others, when we observe good things around us, when we try to avoid seeing wrong in others, when we expose ourselves to good nature, food, habits and climate, then automatically good things happen to us. So to illustrate this point, again I would like to narrate an anecdote. This is a popular story of Akbar and Birbal. So Akbar was a king and Birbal was his minister. And once they went for hunting into a forest. And while hunting, accidentally, Akbar gets hurt and his finger gets cut. And it was bleeding and he was feeling pain. At that moment, Birbal says, don't worry, don't be sad, because everything happens for good. God's actions are always just. Something good is going to happen, that is why this negative thing has happened. So Akbar gets angered, because first of all he was hurt and he was feeling pain, and Birbal says that it is for good. So immediately he tells his soldiers to put Birbal in prison. Next day he again goes for hunting, and while hunting he moves further and he is lost. His soldiers and the king get separated and he enters into the territory of the local tribes there. And as soon as he enters their territory, the tribals catch hold of him and they tie him and they want to offer him as a sacrifice to their god. So they put up the fire and they take him to that place to offer him as a sacrifice. Suddenly one of the tribes, he sees the wound on the finger of this king, and according to their tradition, the sacrifice should be perfectly fit body. So this person has a wound, so he was not eligible for the sacrifice. So only because of that reason, they free Akbar, and Akbar immediately comes back. First, after his reaching his kingdom, he goes to the prison. He takes Birbal out and thanks him. And then he accepts, yes, everything which happens for good. And God does everything which is good for us only. Even though at that moment it might be negative, but later on that gives a better result. So it happens with us also. We may face a difficulty, a problem, a situation which is wrong or a failure, but that is for a better future, that is for a better option for us, that is for a better thing which we are supposed to get in future. So that mindset we all should develop. So that is what is the message of Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji says, try to avoid negative thoughts and develop good thoughts as much as possible so that it increases our positivity, and because of that positivity we will be able to face the difficulties in our life and we will be able to solve them easily. So this is what I wanted to share with you all. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.